What's up, guys? Brian Phobos here. Is there something big happening with Bitcoin? I'm going to give you my thoughts and kind of some interesting things that I've seen. So last night I was up when this candle kind of came down here, and I was waiting for this to break loose, lower than these points over here that maybe candled down to, like kind of wicked down to 7,718. It didn't. Kind of been waiting for this to break loose. I'm kind of looking for the, 7,200 to 7,500 level to, take up more positions and stuff like that. Now, I'm mainly going to focus on injecting that into the altcoin markets for a couple reasons. But here is sort of an interesting thing, and I've been monitoring Bitcoin, traffic and everything here kind of for a while. And a lot of times the blocks would be full, but then, as you know, potentially that Tether decided to move most of its transactions off the Omni layer and then over to Ethereum for faster transactions and more capacity capabilities. But right now there's 17,597 unconfirmed transactions on the Bitcoin network. Something may be happening. Maybe people are taking action, whether they're going in alts or they're taking positions and moving coins around and stuff like that. We do have a lot of traffic on the Bitcoin network. In the last 5 or 6 days, there was reduced traffic, like maybe 80 to 90% capacity as far as filled blocks and stuff like that. So I think that that's kind of interesting. We're 230 days from the next block halving. And another thing to note, and I mentioned this last couple days, well, mainly yesterday, that Ethereum 2.0 is coming out eventually here. We don't have exact timelines, but probably in the fourth quarter here coming up. So basically, you're going to have 32 Ethereum if you want to be a validator node, essentially, and earn from proof of stake on Ethereum 2.0. And it's basically going to be kind of this build on chain onto Ethereum. See, it says Ethereum 1 chain, and then they're going to have this beacon chain, and then they're going to implement sharding, which was on the roadmap for a long time. That's the plan. But another thing to kind of look at, Vitalik had this other thing. So it basically is going to be the smart contract. You're going to deposit the 32 Ethereum, and then it says the max rewards are 2 to 6% of the deposit value per year. So 2 to 6% annual interest. Now, let's compare that to maybe other mechanisms out there. So Steam, just by holding Steam power, you get 2.21%, appreciation. Now, there's a lot of problems with Steam, but the overall inflation is 8.59% right now, annual inflation, but you're getting 2.21% of that back just in holding Steam power. Now, let's say for EOS with the REX, and if you're new to EOS, it's the resource exchange. Essentially, you can lock up your EOS in this contract, essentially converting it to REX, and then you'll earn more REX as people buy resources for like CPU and RAM and stuff like that. CPU and net, whatever. So basically, the annual interest rate is 0.1% in the last 60 days. Now recently it's maybe went up a little bit, 0.2% annualized interest. So, I mean, then, you can do these calculations. So like if you had the 10,000 EOS and you converted it to REX, then, you would have basically earned, which, this goes up and down. So there's been times when it's been higher with more DApp utilization and all that kind of stuff. So I was taking that in consideration. So it's saying like you would have earned like 19.14 EOS if you had 10,000 EOS and stuff like that. So it's not like monumental gains with that. So it just kind of depends if you want to try to go after this Ethereum and get 32 Ethereum. This might maybe surprise some people, but I've never been this guy that was like huge into Ethereum in the first place. So right now, I'm actually shy of the 32 Ethereum. So it's one question I'm asking myself is this something that I should do and get 32 Ethereum? Because if you've watched my previous videos, my top 5 cryptos that are, like in my top 5 are basically EOS, Litecoin, Monero, and then Tron and Bitcoin. So those 5 are the focus. Now, I do hold Ethereum, but I'm shy of the 32. Now, right now, I'm thinking that when I buy in, let's say Bitcoin dips down to, 7,500, let's say 7,500 or 7,200, then as I inject more money into the crypto market, I'm probably going to go to Ethereum first and then potentially split that up into other coins, or maybe keep stacking the Ethereum for now, because I think there are going to be people that are going to chase that 32 Ethereum with a little bit lower prices and stuff. The only thing that's kind of tough for me is I did last December pick some
10% of the time you still get some
Ethereum actually for like $85. So I'd have to check if I keep injecting more fiat into it. I don't want to bring up my cost basis a bunch because I like to be in a position where I'm in the money. I'd rather have a smaller position in the money than a bigger position that's out of the money where I'm kind of upside down for a while. But really, when it boils down to it, the plan was not to be selling a bunch of crypto and stuff this year anyway. I'd be waiting until 2020, 2021, and I've set myself up for that. So it just kind of depends on your game plan, and that's another thing with this 8,053 mark or 8,000, or if it's going to hover around 8,000 or something. It all depends how much crypto you have, how much you have fiat-wise to allocate to it, and all that kind of stuff. But I think in general, if you're not holding any crypto, or you're always kind of pessimistic about this and what's going to kind of happen with this, and you're not so sure if we're ever going to reach all-time highs again, then, you might be a little bit weak-minded on that, because, everything points towards all-time highs with Bitcoin eventually, whether that's in 2020 or 2021. I think that it's very possible, and this is, again, conservative numbers. I think that if we see $15,000 or $16,000 again before the halving, maybe a month before the halving, and maybe we dip back down again, but then December 2021, I think that it's going to get to 50,000 conservatively. Now, there's been other analysis that have been done on it, and basically say that the price would get to 100,000 or 160,000 or that kind of stuff. That would be great if it did that, but I'm banking on 50,000. If it gets to 50,000, then that's fine for Bitcoin. And then obviously the alts, as history will repeat itself as it typically does, with these strong alts, will go parabolic against the Bitcoin price when we go up. So I'm more using this time right now to potentially stack more alts, because I'm going to end up with more alts, like number-wise, in whatever numbers you want to do. Like if you're mentally in your head, like maybe you wanted to end up with 20 Litecoins, but then like the price dropped and you're like, you know what, I can end up with 30 Litecoins, or I can end up with 40 Litecoins or 50 Litecoins, or whatever it is. In this situation, you could end up with more, like the number of altcoins that you could end up with is actually way more than maybe you first anticipated. So that's kind of a little bit of the situation that I'm in, just because some of these alts have actually gotten beaten down even a little further than I thought they would. And that includes stuff like Zcash, and we already did a video on that, talking about how, there was a lot of money being spent. They basically take a portion of the block reward to finance development and stuff like that. And they really needed to cut down costs because, they're spending more than they're making. So, that starts to chew at the price. If you have some sort of internal company that owns a large portion that keeps pounding on the order book, hitting the sell button to, pay developers who are there. Some coins don't necessarily have that, and then like development kind of stays dormant, or it's more of on a voluntary basis. So you don't have that as much down pressure, but even some of those coins that don't have that kind of down pressure still got lower than I thought they would. Now that being said, it is an opportunity, And at the end of the day, I have had so many people, whether it was last December, where they thought I was throwing my money away, or they think I'm maybe crazy or something. Even people who are big on crypto, even they're like sitting there thinking, I'm crazy. And then even in these situations, suddenly the price is down. Well, okay, when this thing was running up and it went up to 8,000, then they're tripping over each other to buy. And then suddenly, if it's on the way down on 8,000, say, well, it's going to go lower, going to go lower, going to go lower. I'm doing that to a certain respect, just because kind of where I'm at with my allocations and stuff like that. But, if this even continues and it seems like it's pretty stable at 8,000, I might start throwing these $500 orders in through Uphold. I do $500 a day there, and just start, pumping more money in, pumping more money in, pumping more money in. But I'm not going to allocate, crazy amounts additional to maybe what I already have. I'm just going to keep earning, keep stacking, and, I am going to pump some more fiat in, most likely. But it all just kind of comes down to what you guys are trying to do. Let me know, what do you guys think? Were you guys, did anybody kind of take, have some orders in and maybe catch some of this wick that came down here? Or, what are you guys thinking? When we zoom it out, the thing is, it's like, it is obviously kind of downtrending here. Dang it, come on. Let me go out to the 6 hour. It is just in general, just kind of downtrending. But what do you guys think? I mean, is it going to break down and go down to like another level, and then that's where it's going to rest? Or do you think it'll continue to kind of break down like this over, 2 weeks, a month, or longer duration? Personally, I think this is going to be a little bit quicker. I think we could break down pretty hard again, because it always seems like the big money, and again, big money could come in right now, and we could literally just see a parabolic candle, that goes straight up. That is very possible. We've seen that before. Big money decides to make a move, then you're at the mercy of that. But what I've seen over time is sometimes, as they kind of weigh the sediment and see the volumes and stuff like that, they'll sort of make it to where they've exhausted everybody who was going to take a position at, let's say, like 8,000. That kind of ends up being in, and that's kind of it. And then they can break it down further. They know they can, break everybody's back at that point once everybody had put in their orders, and break it down to another level. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below, and follow me on all social media at Brian Phobos, YouTube, Instagram, Steemit, Twitter. See you guys later.